Well, I think we all knew this was going to be coming. Good old cocaine bear, right? Instantly, no chance of monetization ever, even if I ever get monetized with this one. Said cocaine in the first 15 seconds, and I just said it again. So, let's get into it. You know the drill. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this absolute Oscar-winning masterpiece, and you don't want it to be spoiled, stop the video, because I'm going to be talking about it in detail, etc. You have been warned. Let us begin. Opening scene, we have an over-exuberant drug dealer, cartel type dude or whatever, throwing duffel bags of cocaine out of an airplane over a secluded wooded area, which obviously is then discovered by our friend the bear. So yeah, we have a couple who is vacationing, can't remember from where, doesn't really matter, but couple vacationing in the countryside of North America. They're all excited because they spot a bear. They're like, oh man, I've never seen a bear. I've always wanted to see one. This is so cool. And then the bear locks eye contact on them. And so the woman gives the binoculars to her partner, and he's looking. He's like, I can't see the bear. And lo and behold, it's charging them. So he's trying to explain to her, okay, so whatever you do, don't run. Of course, before he finishes, she bolts. So the bear chases her, jumps her, and tears her to shreds, leaving this poor guy like, oh my god. And that's what we see from that. So, forgot to mention, the bear was acting erratically. Obviously, it's on cocaine. So, like, initially, it's just scratching its back all lazy, and then it starts banging its head against a tree. Just utter, drug-fueled madness. So then we cut to, we've got four main characters, and they're sort of introduced in, like, little segments that jump back and forth to each other. So I'll just go through the basic guys. So we've got Bob, who's a cop. He's older, kind of out of shape. I'm surprised he didn't drop the line, you know, like 6 days from retirement or whatever. But, yeah, he's our police protagonist who's been trying to track the cocaine dropped. So he knows essentially what's going on. He knows who's dealing with it. He just needs to find it and essentially link it to them through, like, evidence and whatnot. Or, you know, do fingerprints or whatever you got to do. Cop stuff. So Bob's on his way to this, I think it's a national or state park. I assume it's a state park. I think it's in, I don't remember what state. Doesn't matter. It's a state park or a national park. Anyway, he's headed there. And at the same time, we have this young girl, Dee Dee, and her friend Henry. So their little plot story at the beginning is her mom is dating some new guy, and he wants to take them all to Nashville. But the mom had already promised to take Dee Dee to the this waterfall or whatever area is there, so she can paint a picture of it. I guess she's a little artiste. Very cool. Anyway, the mother, whose name is Sari, by the way, is saying, okay, well, we can go next week, but, you know, let's do Nashville this week, because he's excited to bring us out. I don't think we ever actually see the dude. Anyway, she's not having it, so as soon as mom's gone, the next day she skips out on school, her and Henry, and they go down to the park, and they're going to go hiking. So that's their little loop of the story. Then we got Ranger Liz and the three hoodlums and Peter. So Ranger Liz is obviously the ranger of this state park, and Peter is like the wildlife expert of the area. I guess he does like tours and stuff maybe, but she is clearly smitten for him. Has the hots for him. I don't know if it's reciprocal. We don't really ever get too much of a chance. I'm assuming they're kind of dating because they kind of, I guess, hinted it a little bit while they're hiking. But anyway, in the ranger station, whatever. Then there's these three punk kids who are always trying to, like, steal money from the till or steal, like, snacks or whatever it is out of the place. And she's had it with these three hoodlums. I don't think any of the punk kids have names. I know, like, the main one is, like, listed as Vest or something in the credits, so I'll either call him Vest or, like, the hoodlum or the punk kid or whatever, I don't know. And then lastly, we have David and Eddie, who are two people that work for Eddie's father, who is, I guess, the local mafiosa drug cartel distributor, whatever you want to call it, for either the US or the state region or the multi-state region or whatever. Anyway, they're sent to the park because they found Buddy, who threw them out the airplane. Apparently, before he was going to jump and parachute down, he banged his head on the top of the door, knocked himself cold, and fell to his death. So his body was found. Anyway, these two are going down to essentially find the rest of the drugs, bring it back to him, and recuperate as much of it as they can. Because, I mean, if you know anything about drug deals, you know, if you don't have the product that you promised someone that you would have, or if you can't sell the product to people that you promised you would sell it to them, there's going to be not good things happening. So, anyway, that's their little arc. So there we go. There's our main groups of the story here. Right. So so let's cut to Dee Dee and Henry are in the park. I think they're the first ones to arrive of all of the groups. So they end up starting their little hiking thing, and they find a brick of cocaine. And for whatever reason, I guess Henry's like got the hots for Dee Dee. They're like super young, so not the hots, but like he has a crush on her. Clearly he wants to impress her or whatever. Or maybe they're just friends and he wants to impress her. I don't friggin' know. I don't remember what it's like to be like 12 or 15 or... Yeah, I can't even tell what age kids are anymore. If they're young, they're young. Anyway, they're kids and he wants to impress his friends. So he's like, yeah, I've done cocaine before. And she's like, oh, really? Really? He's like, oh, yeah, for sure. She's like, okay, well then do some right now. Give me your knife. And she opens the bag of cocaine. Yeah, this is a film where kids embark on these activities. Oh, I guess I should say trigger warning for drug use. I mean, it's mostly a bear, but I mean, whatever, just in case. So anyway, she calls his bluff and says, oh yeah, you do it all the time. Okay, do some right now. He's like, no, I mean, it's, you know, I don't want it to ruin our hike or whatever. And she's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. He's like, she says, give me your knife. It's like, okay. How much are you supposed to take? And he's like, I don't know. She's like, how do you take, or no, she says, how do you do it? And he's like, you eat it. Okay. Yeah, so he's definitely done it before. She's like, okay, and how much? He's like, a tablespoon should be good. Oh my god. Anyway, so she puts a tablespoon of cocaine in her mouth and like gags and almost throws up, because I imagine that would be disgusting. Yeah, ingesting pure chemicals is probably not fun for the tongue, I would assume. So she coughs and spits it out, and she's like, oh my god, you have to try it. He's like, okay, and he does the same thing, same reaction, because ew. And yeah, he's like, oh man, that's nothing like the kind that I usually do. Mine's like sweeter. I don't know. He's still like joking or still lying and saying that he's done it for whatever reason. Like she's gonna care either way, right? Anyway, there's that joke. Cue the bear. The bear comes along and they run off. Cut to the next scene. I think we have I think it's David and Eddie now are arriving in the park, and they're in the bathroom, and these punk kids basically try to rob him. So I guess Eddie's waiting in the truck or something, or he's talking, maybe he's at the park office, I don't know. But anyway, these three punk kids enter, and they start playing with their little switchblades and shit, and David's not having it, so he just absolutely floors all three of them. And it looks like he dusts himself. He's like, oh, I'm good. And then he's like, and he looks, and there's, the switchblade is right in his back, so that's fun. Ruins his favorite jersey or whatever, so he's pissed off. Anyway, Eddie comes in. What the fuck happened? They're kids. Turns out these kids have one of the bricks of cocaine with them. So they're like, okay. Eddie's like, I just found this. They better not be dead. He's like, oh, no, they're not dead. I just knocked it. Well, the one that stabbed me might be dead. I don't know. So they wake up one of the kids, and this is the one that's called Vest. So again, he'll just be, generic punk kid, whatever. So they wake him up, and he tries to act tough for like 3 seconds until a gun is mentioned, and then he agrees to show them that he's stashed all of them by a gazebo or something. So they take him and leave the other two like out cold in a bathroom stall. And they go on their little hike to, apparently there's a gazebo or something where they stash them, so that's fine. So they begin their little hike onto the gazebo area. During this hike, for whatever reason, this punk kid and Eddie are getting along. Like, they're playing 20 questions and, like, almost having fun on their little nature hike. Even though it's like, yeah, they're literally, like, kidnapping him to find his drug stash. So, whatever, that's fun. Okay, so about the same time, Sari shows up, and she is at the park office, and Ranger Liz and Peter are in there, and she's like, listen, have you seen my little girl? She skipped school, blah, 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 and they're like, she's probably heading to the waterfall. And they're like, okay, well, we were actually planning on going for a walk to the waterfall as well. You're welcome to join us. So perfect. That's what they do. She heads out with them. So that's another trio. So we got the trio of the drug guys and the little punk kid, and then we got Sari and the park staff as another trio. And then we have our good friend Bob, who is following his leads, essentially, that lead him to this park. Well, I mean, obviously they found, like, the body in the park. So he's going to the park. He wants to deal with this shit, get it out, put these guys to the books, or whatever you say. Whatever cops say. I'm not a cop. I don't know. So yeah, he's on his way, gets in there, and he is pulling up and fiddling around. Cut back to Liz and Peter and Sari, who find Henry, right? Henry? Yeah, I think it's Henry. The little boy, so not Dee Dee, but I'm going to call him Henry. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. Anyway, Henry. Fuck, I'll just look. What did I call him? Yeah, Henry. Okay, we're good. So he is stuck up in a tree, and the three of them find him, and they're like, oh my god, Henry, what are you doing up there? And he's like, there was a bear, and he tells them everything. The bear's on cocaine, like, all this stuff. Yeah, I guess they saw the bear eat the cocaine, and then it, like, chased them or whatever. I forgot to mention that. But anyway, he's in the tree, and they're like, okay, well, Sari's like, okay, come down. Do you know where Dee Dee went? He's like, yeah, she ran that way, and the bear got her or something and dragged her or whatever. So that's not good. And then the bear decides to show up. So here comes good old cocaine bear, like, tweaking out of his head. Attacks Peter, as Peter is, like, instructing nobody to move because the bear is, a black bear. You can make yourself, like, big enough to frighten it off or whatever, and if you stand your ground, it's not going to come. No, it's not. It's on cocaine. So it grabs him and pulls him into the reeds, and he's screaming, and he gets away. I guess it released him or whatever, and Liz fires at it behind him, but I think she hits Peter. It's like, okay, that's good job, Liz. She has a gun for whatever reason. I don't know if park rangers have guns. I assume they do, but anyway, she has a sidearm, so good times. Then from behind her, the bear comes, attacks her, jumps on her, bites her back. Everyone's freaked the fuck out. Sari hides behind the tree that Henry is stuck up, and Peter starts climbing a tree, freaking out, and the bear takes off, and Liz kind of limps away, leaving everyone kind of abandoned, and Sari's just like, what the fuck? And yeah, the expert guy is all panicking and stuff, and the kid's, he's like, why are you in the tree or whatever? And the kid's like, because bears can't climb trees. And then the expert's like, they absolutely can climb trees. And the kid's like, well, why are you up there then? And he's like, shit, you got me. That's a good point. So he just panicked. Anyway, cue the bear. So Sari's hiding behind the tree, and she's kind of panicking, like, oh god, where is this bear? And then all of a sudden, boom, claws on either side of the tree trunk, like, she's here, bear's here, claws are like, rah. Anyway, it starts climbing the tree up to Henry. So that's not good. So Henry's freaking out. He's crawling up the tree as the bear is quickly gaining ground, because they literally are built for climbing trees, these things. I don't know if you've ever seen a bear climb a tree, but they can go up pretty quickly, actually. Now picture one fueled by cocaine. So there you go. Anyway, Henry's kicking it and everything, and whatchamacallit, Peter, I think, can't remember if he finds, like, a duffel bag of cocaine in the tree that he's in or something, but he ends up throwing, no, that's what it was. Okay, so when the bear attacked him, it, like, sneezed and sneezed cocaine out on him, so he's, like, covered in, like, bear slime and cocaine. Anyway, once the bear is up to close to where Henry is, Peter's on the same level on the adjacent tree, And the bear picks up the scent of the cocaine. So obviously, fuck this little kid. I'm going to go get me drugs. So it climbs down the tree and starts climbing up to Peter. And he's freaking out, clearly. It gets him. I mean, there's a great scene of his body falling. And then his, like, shoulders and neck hit the ground and bend in an unnatural way. And then slump over, followed by his severed leg. And then the bear climbs down. Anyway. Sari and Henry bolt. They're like, yeah, we gotta get the hell out of here. We don't have no time for this shit. So they take off. They run into the tourist guy from the very beginning of the film, the one whose like partner got mauled, and he's still like traumatized, clearly, as you would be, because I think this all happened essentially in the same day, right? So everything that happens here is within a day. I would even say within like an afternoon. So very tight-knit timeline. Anyway, he's there and she asks him or whatever. He ends up saying that he saw her daughter and he can lead her to where he is, but he's still kind of shaken and whatnot, but he can lead her to where she is. And so they follow him towards the direction that Dee Dee may be. Cut back to the park ranger office where the two punk kids that were unconscious in the bathroom are back, and they had like sort of robbed the register as Liz arrives, but Liz is too stressed to realize it, and she's like getting her gun reloaded and all that stuff, and the kids are like, she realizes essentially that they stole from the register, and she's like, you little shitheads, and then everything stops for a second. There's something outside, and she's like, that's him. They're like, him? They're assuming some person, Peter maybe. And she's like, yeah, he's, she draws the guns, like, okay, open the door and I'll fire. And they're like, what the fuck did this guy do to you? Anyway, they open it and the bear is sitting on its ass all dumb and happy until it turns and sees, chewy, meaty things. So the bear charges and she fires the gun, but it misses the bear completely and ends up shooting one of the little punks in the head, and his head partially explodes, so he's dead. The other one's like, what the fuck? They close the door, the bear takes off. Liz is like, oh fuck, what did I do? That's not good. And then they hear the bear on the roof. And you see like soot going down the chimney. And I mean, initially you're gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be like a Santa Claus joke. It like comes down the chimney. That's ridiculous. So they're aiming at the chimney. Lo and behold, the one remaining living punk of the two is pressed up against the door with a little window here. Boom, bear claw grabs his face. He dead. Beautiful. Cut back to Sari and the crew. They find a cave, and inside the cave are two little bear cubs completely covered in cocaine. And they find Dee Dee, who's okay. And she's like, don't worry about them. They're like harmless. They're like little bears, like tiny little cubs. Like they're not going to hurt you. Don't worry about it. Anyway. So that's great. Nice reunion. And then they hear the the tourist guy screaming from outside. So they go and they find an alternate exit to this cave, which luckily there is one. It's not very frequent that caves have more than one exit, I don't think. Maybe they do, but not like so close to the initial one, I would assume. I've only been in a couple caves, so I have no idea. Maybe I'm completely talking out my arse. But anyway, they find it, and lo and behold, there's the waterfall. So they found the cave that's behind the waterfall that, Dee Dee and Sari hiked to all the time, and she wanted to go and paint or whatever. So that's fun. Cut back to Bob arriving at the park, and no one's in the ranger office. No one's answering. So he's like, okay, whatever. So he goes and he picks a path and he hikes down it, and lo and behold, he finds the gazebo and he sits under it and he breathes. He's like, he's a little bit out of breath, winded, looks up. Okay. There's a duffel bag stuck in like the ceiling, like a little, I don't know, air hole or whatever. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it's up in like the rafters or whatever. So he is going to go climb and get it. So that's fun. A couple minutes later, we got our three heroes there. We got Eddie and David and Punk number one, the supreme punk, the S+ tier punk, whatever you want to call it. The last one to be alive, let's just say. They get there and he's like, okay, it's in there. And he goes in, he looks up, he's like, it's not there. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And he's like, no, seriously, it's not there. That's where I put it. It isn't there now. David isn't buying it. He pulls the gun on him, and then you hear, drop the gun, and there's Bob on top of the gazebo aiming a gun down. So they're essentially in a standoff because Bob can't get down, and none of the guys on the ground can move or he'll shoot them. So that's fun. Like, how the hell did you get up there? He's like, I climbed up on that tree over there and jumped down, but I kind of hurt my hip. I just got to figure out how the hell I'm going to get down from here. And then the bear comes, because the bear's got to interact with everyone, you know what I mean? So he comes and he's sniffing around and he's... Oh yes, okay, sorry. So David gets shot, his fingers get shot off or whatever, because he goes for his gun that he threw down. And then he stops, he's like, fuck. And then he bolts it again, too quickly, I guess he's too close to the gazebo for Bob to aim down under the roof or whatever. So now it's like an actual standoff. So he's in the gazebo, Bob's on the top. David's just like, can like Eddie at least go grab my fingers off the ground? And he's like, yeah, go get them. And so he pockets them because cool. And then the bear comes, so my bad. So the bear is walking towards the gazebo. David's hiding. He's like, oh shit, this ain't good. I don't want to deal with no bear. And then they realize it's on cocaine itself, which is also really fun. So that's great. So he's basically playing cat and mouse, kind of hiding from the bear around corners and whatnot. And eventually the bear wanders off and picks Eddie of the two of them lying on the ground who are playing dead essentially, and collapses on him. It just like, it's out cold. I don't know if it like crashed or whatever it was. They're trying to figure out if it's dead. They're like, can we call a truce so I can see if the bear's dead? Bob's like, yeah, go. So David runs out and he's checking the bear and he can't really tell. It's like, I can't tell if he's dead. And you hear from under the bear, Eddie, it's a she. He's like, what? How do you know? He's like, because its vagina is on my ear. It's like, oh, okay. Also the cubs, but they don't know about the cubs, so whatever. Anyway, bear eventually wakes up and starts, it looks like it's like dancing with Eddie for whatever reason. But it's, I guess, wrestling with him, playing with him, maybe? I'm not really sure. And then it gets a little bit too aggressive and is about to attack him, but Bob takes one of the cocaine bricks and bursts it open and throws it in the air so that the bear can catch a whiff of it, and the bear is instantly no longer interested in Eddie. Bob throws another brick with a cut in it into the bush, and the bear runs off, and they can get the hell out of there. That's when Bob's partner arrives. I do not forget this character, or I don't remember this character's name, I apologize. She was introduced in the beginning, and she's like looking after his dog too. So they're like buddies, but oh my god, it's a betrayal. So it looks like she's gonna arrest them, but then she pulls the gun on Bob, who I forgot to mention. Shit. Okay, so after the bear had run off, Eddie's dad apparently was with a high-powered rifle and ends up shooting Bob before he can shoot David. So Bob's on the roof, and that's when the partner comes. And she sees Bob there, and Bob's like, oh, thank God. Okay, be careful with these guys. They're, rowdy when you cuff them. And she turns and basically puts the gun away and looks at him and sort of stands with him. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, Bob. Guys, I told you not to shoot him. And they're like, I didn't shoot him. So who shot him? Well, they don't know that Eddie's dad's there just yet. Anyway. Bob in his dying words like, is my dog okay? And she's, I guess she does genuinely like him. She said don't hurt him and everything, just she wants the drug money. Whatever. Somewhat redeeming, I suppose, even though backstab. But anyway, she says the dog's okay, so that's great. And then he dies on the roof knowing that his dog's okay, so that's fantastic. The dog, by the way, is in the car at the park right now, so that's great. Anyway, they end up meeting up with Eddie's dad, who says, yeah, basically, I'm here because I guess they're taking too long, I don't know, but he's like, okay, where's the shit? And they explain to him what exactly is going on, and there you go. So he's in the loop now. He's like, a bear? Are you fucking... No, okay. Like, I don't care. We have to find the rest, because they don't ask what happened. They just ask, where is it? Basically, like, why do you... Or some... I can't remember what he says. It's like, they don't care why it's gone. They just care that it's gone. So they gotta find it, or at least as much of it as possible, because the bears consumed some already, whatever. But I guess he could, like, pay the difference and, you know, whatever. So that's great. So they're on a mission. They end up finding the same cave that Sari and the kids are in. They're on the... Come back to the cave. They're on the ledge with these two cubs, and the cubs are just, you know, playing and being silly or whatever. And then you hear the other guys coming. Oh, I think at this point too, like, the last remaining punk kid is taken off. So it's just David, Eddie, and Eddie's daddy, Papa. I'm gonna just call him Papa. Can't remember. I think the character's name was like, was it Sid? Was it? No, what was his name? Brilliant. I'm so good at this. Anyway, Papa. They're in the cave now too, and Sari and the kids hear them. They're like, okay, get back. And they see a bag of cocaine as they exit onto the waterfall cliff or whatever. And like, that's it, go get it or whatever. And they see Sari, and Sari's like, I just want to take the kids and get out. And they're like, no, you're staying the fuck there. And he has the gun on them and everything. Anyway, cue the bear. Bear comes out, has a little bit of a... Or no, so the cubs try to get the cocaine off of... What's his name? The dad there. And they're like clawing at his leg or whatever, and he's not shooting them, I guess, because whatever, they're just little guys. So what are you gonna do, right? But yeah, eventually she decides with Dee Dee and Henry, like, we gotta just jump. Like, there's water down there. We'll be fine. It'll be scary, but we're fine. They do that. Yeah, and then as the cubs are, he's like, can you, like, help me? And the other two are like, no. Oh, shit, I forgot it completely. So, okay. Rewind. Everyone's still on the cliff. No one's jumped yet. Bear comes out, starts messing around, and he ends up, like, shooting it, and it falls, and it's on a rock on the lower level, and the little cubs are screaming, like, no, Mom! And it's, like, lying there motionless, like, oh no. But anyway, one of the cocaine bricks, like, rip or something, and the cocaine powder sprinkles down on the big bear, and it revives it. It's like, I don't know what you call it, like Popeye's spinach or something. He's just like, ta-da, ready to go again. Starts scaling the wall. He's trying to hold on to all his cocaine, so he's trying to tell the guys, can you, like, shoot it or whatever, or, you know, help me out? They're like, no. And that's when everyone decides to jump. So the Sari and the kids, and then the Eddie and David jump, and then the bear comes back, and bear doesn't go down so easily, because in all of his brilliance, Papa there decided to throw the gun at David, who moved out of the way, and then Sari caught it, which allowed her to get out of there. So he doesn't have a gun anymore. Bear kills him, whatever. Kills him, takes the cocaine, happily ever after, good times. They jump down. There's a whole... I don't remember where in the movie it happens, but there's a whole scene with an ambulance arriving to the ranger thing, and they are trying to open the door, but they can't. It's like not locked. It's sort of ajar, but anyway, that's dead Buddy against the door, right? So the one that she shot. They finally push him open. They're like, oh my god, what the hell? They see this kid with his head blown open, and behind the till area, or the cashier's desk, or whatever you want to call it, Liz is sitting there barely, like, able to speak, just, like, wounded to all hell. She's trying to say something, and one of the paramedic girl goes down and puts the heart monitor on. He's trying to figure out, and then the paramedic dude is looking around, and he sees a closet door, and he opens it, and he sees the other kid, what's left of him. His head's in a bucket and shit. And he's like, oh, what the and then the bear is in the closet. So obviously Liz locked the bear in the closet or whatever, and the bear comes out of the shadows, and the paramedic dude just slowly backs up and closes the door. Anyway, Bear busts the door down. Door's on him. Bear's on the door. So he's getting crushed, and it's like drooling and snarling at him while Liz and the other paramedic woman take off to the ambulance. Gets strapped in. Dude runs out. He freed himself by like hitting it with a brick of cocaine, which like distracted it off the door temporarily. He's running to the ambulance as it's driving away, and he jumps into the back of it. Liz is all strapped into one of those like wheeled stretchers, secure or whatever, but the doors are wide open in the back. Bear is coming. It's barreling towards them at like Mach 15 or whatever Bear speed is. Okay, not Mach 15, but faster than the ambulance. Also, it's coked up, so that's great. She's like, can you like drive faster? And she's like, close the frickin' door. And he can't because it's, you know, it's a moving vehicle. And I guess the wind force is holding it a little bit, or it's stuck open or whatever. Anyway, Bear jumps into the back of the thing, knocks Liz's friggin' stretcher out, flips upside down, and she gets like road rashed across the pavement. So obviously she's dead, but like, yeah, going, you know, 40, 50 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers, whatever the hell speed the ambulance is going. The force of her being rubbed against the road, you know that she's like being ground down essentially. So that was fun. So she's dead, absolutely. Buddy in the back of the ambulance is getting torn apart. He like flies into like the front seat, where his friend, she looks at him and she's like, oh, and his hand is like all hanging, mangled, and Bear's tearing him, and she's like driving frantically, but ends up crashing into a tree, and the force of the impact sends her flying through the windshield, and she lands with a thud, her neck snaps, so she's dead. So both the paramedics are dead. Anyway, that's a whole scene that goes on. I think that's before the cave encounter, but anyway, it's important to explain that because that was a friggin' ridiculously brilliant scene. Apparently they were called there because someone had a head injury, so I guess maybe Liz made the call, or maybe one of the punk kids because they're stupid. I don't know. Anyway, all that said and done, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Basically, Cocaine Bear just went off and lived its life, and the kids were reunited, and they go home, and all's well. Peace has been restored to the kingdom. If I'm missing something, which I probably am, oops. But that's essentially it. So, see a couple of cutscenes where, yeah, Eddie ends up taking Bob's dog or whatever, and the dog jumps in the car, and David looks at him and is like, what's that? He's like, I guess it's my dog. He's like, is it on cocaine? He's like, no. He's like, all right, good dog. I mean, fair, right? Then there's another scene of through the camera, I guess there's another tourist filming the bear, and she's like, oh, cool. Then it's playing with its cubs, and then it just stops and looks directly at the camera. Like, and then it moves quickly, and then that cuts out. So Cocaine Bear is alive and kicking. Then there's another scene of the whatchamacallit, the punk kid, the one that survived. He's hitchhiking down the road, and a sheep truck pulls up. So it's like a pickup with a bunch of sheep in the back, and he throws one of those duffel bags. So obviously he still has a bunch of cocaine that he's going to go sell, I guess. He throws it in the back of the truck and gets in, and they take off. He's like, oh shit, actually wait. And he jumps out of the car as they pull aside again. He grabs the thing and he pulls it in the front. Gives the sheep a dirty look. Cocaine Sheep, that's a sequel. And then they show Eddie reuniting with his son. And I guess the son's all excited about the dog and whatnot, and then they realize, oh shit, what's the dog eating? Yeah, it's it's David's fingers. I guess it fished them out of Eddie's pocket. And then that's the end. So there you go. That's Cocaine. Oh fuck, this review's going long. Sorry guys. Anyway, that is Cocaine Bear. I can't believe I went into as much detail as I did. It was completely unnecessary, but I guess so was this movie in a sense, but not necessarily in a bad way. It was absolutely over the top ridiculous. It was fun though. It had some good comedic aspects to it. Some of the gore scenes were pretty good. Oh, the cubs disembowel Eddie's dad, by the way. So that's how he dies. Basically, the Cocaine Bear basically nods to the... I said basically twice there. 3 times now. The Cocaine Bear nods to the little cubs, and the cubs disembowel him, and he shows them pulling his intestines out and everything, and then his body just falls off the water, and the bears don't give a shit because they're just face deep in the cocaine bag again. So that was another scene. Clearly, the true events that this are based on are nothing near what this film did. Apparently, I think the bear that ingested cocaine died after like 20 minutes or something like that. So, I mean, you couldn't really make a movie about that. But the concept alone is what they went with, because a bear on cocaine, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. So that's fun. It's apparently Elizabeth Banks did this movie. I can't remember if she's director or producer, but she did this. So, I mean, based on a lot of the things I've seen with Elizabeth Banks behind the scenes have been pretty entertaining, not including the Charlie's Angels remake. But yeah, for the most part, pretty entertaining. So I'll have to maybe look into more of her stuff. I'm trying to remember what she actually did, but I remember seeing her name on a few movies, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, that was all right. Or maybe I'm completely mistaken. I'm just thinking of this and like maybe one other film. So I don't know. Let me know. Does Elizabeth Banks rock as a director or producer, or is she absolutely horrible? What do you think? Tell me. Yeah, so I mean, essentially that's that. Again, like, yeah, decent gore, not overboard. Some of the dialogue is hilarious, like the little kid saying that was fucked, seeing like Peter getting ripped apart, and he's like, you know, some things, or that's something I would like to forget, but I feel like these kind of things stay with a man forever. You know, just some of the lines that these kids have are pretty hilarious. Yeah, overall it's a good time. Like, it's campy as hell. It's not, you know, an Oscar winner by any means, but it's a good time. What am I gonna rate this guy? I think I don't know, man. 5.8 sound good? 5.806. Why not? 5.806. That's Cocaine Bear. And despite my rating it this low, it's not to say that it's not an enjoyable film. It's just, you know, not phenomenal. But I mean, I could see myself revisiting this one every once in a while, every couple of years or something, when I want a good laugh. So I mean, it's not it's not a throw in the garbage once you watch it type movie, but it's not a serious contender, you know, to sit up the likes of like Candyman or A Nightmare on Elm Street or something. So also, it's not a slasher, so I don't know why you would put it up there either. But anyway, that's the review. This is going on way too long. It's probably going to be my like second longest video, so I'm going to stop it here. Should you watch Cocaine Bear? Yeah, if drug use doesn't bother you at all, and you know that everything that's done in this film is done for the sake of comedy, absolutely check it out. It's a good time. It's just stupid, turn your brain off ridiculousness. And yeah, that's where I'll leave it. Take her easy. Bye-bye.